In the previous examples, we were finding the area when we were given the z-score. Well, you can do the opposite where you've been given the area and you're going to find the z-score itself. In this case, we have a percentage, which is 17.62%. Before you can do anything, you have to turn this back into a probability. So you're going to divide that by 100. In that case, what you're going to get is a number 0.1762. From there, what we're going to do is we're going to find this in our z-score tables. Sometimes it won't be necessarily exact, but you might have to pick out the closest one possible. In this case, 0.1762, you're going to have to do a bit of a scan. It actually will be located about right here. Once you've found your number, all you need to do is look to the left and look up. Okay, so the numbers to the left will give you your first two numbers. That's going to be negative 0.9. When you look up, that gives you your third number, which is 3. The next one's a little bit trickier because remember, the areas underneath the curve that the z-score tables reference is everything to the left of a z-score. In B, we have the area to the right of the z-score we're trying to find, which is z1. So what you need to do is first off, convert this back into a probability. In that case, divide that by 100 and you get 0.1492. From there, what you're going to do is you're going to have to convert it because what we want is this part right here in order to get the proper z-score. If you don't do that, you're going to get the wrong z-score. To do that, remember that this whole thing equals 1. So all you're going to do is take 1 and subtract that area that we've been given. So it's going to be 0.1492. And what you're going to get is an area of 0.8508. Alright, now that you have that, you can look that up in the z-score tables. Don't forget you have 2. Anything above 0.5, you're probably going to want to look in the positive z-score tables. Anything underneath 5 or 0.5, you want to look for the negative z-score tables. Okay, so we're going to be looking for 0.8508. It's going to be right here. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to look to the left and you want to look up. And what that's going to give you is a z-score of 1.0 for the first two numbers, and then 4 is the third number, so that's your z-score. For the next one, we want this shaded part right here. Now that looks a little bit difficult. What we want to here is we want the Z1 score, and of course remember that the Z score references the area to the left of it. That doesn't necessarily just include the shaded part, it also includes this part right here. It's helpful to know that the mean, which has a Z score of 0, has 50% of the data beneath it and 50% of the data above it. Okay, so that must mean that this area here is 50% or 0.50. Okay, when you divide it by 100. So to make things easier, what we're going to do is we're going to add that 0.50 to that shaded part, which is 0.2580. Okay, so what you're going to have is a probability of 0.7580, which you can now look for in your z-score tables. Now again, it's above 0.5, so you want to be looking for the positive z-score table. 0.7580 is going to be about right there. So look to the left and look up. In that case, our z-score is going to be 0.70. For this next one, we have to find two z-scores using the information we do have. We have the area for not only the shaded part, we also have this area here for the non-shaded part, which will be useful. Keep in mind, like before, that every 50% of the data is the left of the mean. So to find the first one, we're actually going to start with Z2. Now Z2 is going to reference all the data to the left of it, and that will be the area. Now keep that in mind. In that case, we can use the property that 50% of the data is to the left of the mean, and what we're going to do is we're going to subtract this in order to get the area to the left of Z2. So 0.5 minus 0.1292, and what you're going to get is 0.3708. Looking at your z-score tables, you have 0.3708. In that case, the closest one you're going to have is right here, 3707. So look to the left and look up, and that corresponds to a z-score of about negative 0.33. So that is going to be Z2. So next up we need to find Z1. We're going to use that area we found for Z2, which is 0.3708. Remember, that's going to reference everything to the left of Z2, which would be this area I'm shading right here. Now the thing is we don't really need the part that was originally shaded. That's the one that's 0.2145. So we're actually going to subtract that part, and what you see here is we're going to be left with this area right here, which will correspond to Z1. Okay, so for the next part we're going to be looking for Z1. What you're going to be doing is you're going to subtract that shaded part, which I've shaded here in red, from the area that we found for Z2, which was 0.3708, because that of course references everything to the left of it. Okay, so it's going to be 0.3708 minus that shaded part, which is 0.2145, and what that will do will give you the area to the left of Z1, which is going to be 0.1563. Now all you need to do here is find that in your z-score table. Okay, so the closest one that I see here for 0.1563 is going to be right here. If you look to the left, that's going to be there, negative 1.0, and then you've got this right here, which is 0.1. So your z-score for Z1 is going to be negative 1.01.